Hello everyone. Today we are going to begin working on easy to make pendants um, that you can do with easy to acquire gemstones. So yeah, let's get started. Alright, so we start out with our gemstone. Blue topaz in this case. And from this we air quotes measure out the length of wire that we're going to need. And we cut 3 to 4 pieces of it, depending on the thickness of the gemstone. And still cutting. So here I'm going to cut a piece of half round. Normally I would be using 20 gauge since my square is 20 gauge, but I don't have any. So for this model I'm going to use 18 gauge. A slight variance like this can often work out just fine. I want to take a second to apologize for how blurry a lot of this video is. I'm doing the best I can here, and on the one I'll be editing here shortly, hopefully I will have shot it better, because I'm going to shoot it after editing this. Anyway, in the middle of your square wire, you want to fold your half round over it in half. In the middle, while the camera focuses on anything but no, never mind, make me a liar. Fold it over. Yeah, I was just noticing how well I did of doing that perfectly in half, but it'll be okay. And fold it over again. For this, going around it 3 times should be enough to form the middle of, this will be the bottom of our pendant. Checking, deciding that yes, it indeed does. And let's make a prong. So, fold the wires up, and then go off camera to fold one over. Yes, great work there. Oh man, I'm glad I don't have an editor, they'd kill me. Anyway, yeah, so you fold it over and okay. So let's look at this one in slow motion. There we go. Let's bend it where we want the prong to be or to end, and fold that over. There we go. And then compress together. Now, sometimes it'll twist on you like that. You just gotta keep at it and keep working it. Get nice and tight together. So it goes all blurry like that. Now, if yours isn't going blurry, don't worry. That's normal. And then you fold the bottom back in line with the rest of the pendant. Looks like the slow spell wore off. And now what I'm doing is I'm wrapping the wire over in a way where on one side of the wire it'll cross over, or the half round will cross over the area where there's a prong. On the other side it'll leave a blank space, and that's not just a Taylor Swift song, but the aesthetic choice we're making for this piece. Which, there we go, yep, comes into focus, good. And then we go back to wrapping it around. Oh, checking. Yes, always good to check to see how far I gotta go. How many wraps around with the half round you're gonna make, that you need to make. Alright, so now we're gonna wrap the half round wire around the 3 square wires again. Yeah, pretty tedious process. Not really. There are way more tedious processes in wire wrapping. It's good to crimp each time you go around once. It sure doesn't hurt. It's also good to test and check to see how far you have left to go. Now, oftentimes you don't have as far to go as you will think, and that's what kind of happens with this piece. I overblow it by a little bit. Not too bad, but it could have done better. I did 2 extra wraps instead of just 1. And that's all it takes. So, now we're gonna bend that top wire back up. Yep. And we're gonna make 2 more prongs. Now, I'm gonna do something crazy here, and I'm actually gonna, like, be in focus, so you can kind of see how I... Wait, is this... No, this isn't the one I'm on in focus on, but I didn't do bad. Anyway, you can see how I fold it over and then bend it so that it goes right back to where that square wire would have been had I not diverted its path. And now I'm just gonna tie it down. Let's do this again, shall we? And in focus. Bend like 90. Bend it again. Then try to pinch it shut. And then you can see how I grabbed the wire and just twisted where it should then stack back to where it would have been if it wouldn't have been diverted in the first place. I had felt it was a little too high up, so I changed it. Anyway, now tie it back down again, crossing over the prong on the same side. thinking about what's coming up. So now we're gonna grab the tips of the prongs. Just the tip. Like, you don't want too much, and you don't want too little. Put it flat against something that's not gonna break, and use it to pry up the end of the... They're technically called claws. Prong settings have notches cut out of them to hold the stone. These just go over the top of the stone. Then I'm gonna bend the... Oh, how out of focus am I for the rest of this? Alright, so we have our claws. They're bent over. And now what we need to do is shape it for being a setting. Sometimes some of the last things to come together are the first things that you'll bend. See how I just shape the inside of that setting. Test the stone. It feels meh. So grab and think it's the same stone. I might have grabbed another stone. But it fits. And so now you'll use your pliers to fine-tune the shape, and then take the half round you have and use it to bind that part together. And adjust the prongs. I hate my camera so much. Can autofocus. Just only if whatever it's supposed to autofocus on is in the exact center of the camera. So right now, I'm picking out and shaping my bail, which in this case will be 2 wires that I don't do anything with. In many cases, I will wrap them together with the remaining half round wire for kind of a different feel. Anyway, no matter what I do, I'm going to bring those 2 wires back behind and then underneath. At the top of the stone, there's usually a little spot for wires to come through. Not always. There are different ways to deal with this, and I hope to do videos on several different styles. So shape them to be somewhat even. And then I will wrap each of them around, well, technically the wire's wrapping around itself, just coming out through, and yeah. And just once. Just going to wrap it around itself once. I'm also going to keep shaping the bales to try and keep them looking okay and even, symmetrical. I mean, yeah, I hate that word. And yeah, tie off around the front bale in the front. And cut off the excess. Good time to take a drink of whatever you may have on hand, too. Now, you've got 4 wires. Actually, 6 wires. 2 pieces of half round and 2 pieces of square. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to bend one side to loop down and then back up. The other side to loop down and behind. Focus on the down and behind. Because, like, literally focus the camera. Yeah, you can see how this adds a filigree-like look. I'm going to keep one of the pieces a half round, in this case because it's thick. 18 gauge half round is thick enough. And the 2 pieces of square that go around the bottom and the other piece of half round, I'm going to take off camera and tie these off. So for now I'm tying off that piece of half round that was barely visible, probably because it was so out of focus. There we go. Now I'm going to get around to taking the filigree end one, and I'm going to tie it around the back part of the bale. Now, because the bale comes together, both those wire ends come together and meet in the back, for this, I can tie it around both of them. If you've got just 2 wires that are held together with half round, you can tie it around both of them. And that's what I'm going to do with this one, too, because it's attaching in the back. Also, you don't have to go around 2 or 3 times. Something I've learned is you can literally go around once, not even make it like the full, what would seem like, you know, you've gone all the way around and are back on the same side. You can go around like 3 sides and it's good. I prefer to go around or attach it better myself, but anyway, up here on the top is going to be slightly different on this one. I am going to take the first wire, I'm going to attach it to one side. For this case, I think it'll be the near side. And then I'm going to take the other ones and attach them to the other side. Consistently checking and adjusting to make sure that I don't need to change my plan. Like, if you gotta change your plan somewhere in the middle, it's better to do it halfway than 3/4. Now I'm gonna take the 18 gauge. I'm gonna tie it off around one of the sides of the bale as well. Oh, wait, I'm still fine-tuning the last one. Okay, now I'm gonna figure out where I want it to go exactly, how it's gonna look best. A lot easier to do when you're in focus. At least I stayed in frame for most of it. But yeah, that's how it's done, so my apologies on the focus thing. I've got another one of these to do, so I'm gonna hope that one stays in focus better and go from there. I really hope this helps someone, anyone out there. I really appreciate all you for watching, especially those who made it this far. Like, that's an accomplishment. You should be proud of yourself. So, celestialreach.etsy.com if you're wanting to get this or something similar. See you in the next one.